All right, we are going to start today in child's pose. So we're going to have the hip or the knees right under those hips, big toes together, sinking those hips over the heels, dropping the forehead onto the mat. Taking deep inhales and exhales. Trying to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. If the shoulders get tired, having them outstretched on the mat, you can take them, bringing them right alongside those legs. Take a few minutes here to start to recognize the breath. Feeling move in through the body. Feeling all the places in the lungs. And then feeling it leave the body with each exhale. Starting to let the day go. Bringing ourselves onto our mats, into our rooms, and starting to clear the mind for the practice we're about to do. Taking those few minutes here to just recognize that breath. Taking a few more deep inhales and exhales. On that next inhale, go ahead and come up onto all fours, taking your time. Taking those wrists, lining them right up under those shoulders. Those knees are right under those hips. Feet tops are flat on the floor. We're going to inhale, drop the belly down, bring the gaze up. Exhale, roll that spine up, tucking that chin into the chest. Inhale, dropping that belly down, gaze going up. Exhale, rolling that spine up, tucking that chin. Inhale, dropping that belly down. Exhale, rolling that spine up. Inhale, belly going down. Exhale, rolling the spine up. And we'll do it one more time. Inhale, dropping that belly down. Exhale, rolling that spine up. On that next inhale, come into a neutral spine. You need to readjust so those wrists are lined back up. And we'll go ahead and add a little bit to that movement. So we'll inhale, dropping that belly down, bringing the gaze up. As we exhale, start to roll the spine, tucking that tailbone in and dropping over those heels, bringing the forehead onto the mat. And inhale, bringing ourselves back up onto all fours, dropping that belly down, bringing the gaze up. Exhale, starting to roll that spine, tucking that tailbone, dropping over those hips. Bringing that forehead down. And inhale, coming up onto all fours. Drop that belly down, gaze up. Exhale, start to roll that spine, tuck that tailbone, dropping down over those heels, forehead coming down. And inhale, coming up. Dropping that belly down, gaze up, and exhale, starting to roll that spine, tuck that tailbone, dropping over those heels. Forehead on the mat, taking a couple breaths here. On our next inhale, coming back up onto all fours. Again, taking that second here to line those wrists back up, line those knees back up. Taking a breath. On our next inhale, we're going to raise our right hand, either coming straight out to the side, or we can bring the fingertips up towards the sky. As we exhale, sweep that hand, threading it between the opposite knee and palm, bringing that cheek onto the mat. Taking the left hand, either stretching it out or taking it and dropping it over that lower back. And taking those deep inhales and exhales. We'll slowly take the left hand either out from over the back or walk it in towards the face, placing that palm right on the mat towards that face, slowly lifting ourselves back up, placing both hands back onto the mat. And this time we'll take the left hand either going straight off to the side or sweeping those fingers up towards the sky. Exhale, bringing that hand, threading it through that opposite wrist and knee. Placing that cheek on the mat. That right arm either get straight over the lower back or walking it out straight. And again, taking deep inhales and exhales. We'll slowly take that right hand, placing it right by the face, putting weight into that hand, bringing ourselves up, placing both hands back onto the mat. Taking that second to line up those wrists. And we'll tuck those toes, placing them on the mat. Slowly start to lift those hips up towards the sky. Coming into our down dog. In our first down dog here, we can go ahead and pedal those feet. So lifting one heel, dropping the other. Going as slow or as fast as is comfortable. Maybe one side's a little bit tight, so if you want to hold that side down a little bit longer, feel free. And then letting those feet come into stillness, taking a breath. And on our next inhale, walking the feet up to those hands, folding over those legs, putting a little bit of a bend in those legs. And then we'll take a hold of each elbow with opposite hand, letting that head just hang. And slowly rocking side to side. And then coming back center. Letting those hands fall back down to the mat and give that head a shake. Maybe shake it yes, shake it no, and then just let it hang. And we'll slowly take the hands, placing them on the thighs, putting a bend in those knees, and rolling up as slow as we can, stacking each vertebrae on top of the other. That head coming up last, rolling the shoulders down the back. Let the hands hang at the side, close the eyes. Take a deep inhale. Exhaling it out. We'll slowly open those eyes back up. And inhale the arms up towards the sky, bringing the gaze up towards the thumbs. Exhale, sweeping the arms out, swan diving down over those legs. Inhale, half lifting, so sliding those hands right under those knees. Exhaling down. Inhale, coming all the way up. Bringing those arms with us. Exhaling the arms down. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, swan diving over those legs. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, coming all the way up to standing. Exhale the arms down. Inhale those arms up. Exhale, swan diving forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale the arms down. All right, adding a little bit more to that. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, swan diving forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step back to a high plank or drop down onto the knees. Exhale, coming all the way onto the mat. Inhale, just lifting that chest. Exhale down. Inhale, push back to down dog so we can pass through all fours here. Taking a breath here. On that next inhale, walking those feet up to those hands. Folding over the legs. And inhale all the way up. Exhaling the arms down. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, swan dive over those legs. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step back to that high plank or onto those knees. Exhale, coming all the way onto the mat. Inhale, just lifting that chest. Exhale down. Inhale, pushing back to down dog. Taking that breath here. On that next inhale, walk those feet up to those hands. Folding over those legs. And inhale all the way up. Exhale the arms down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan driving forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step back to that high plank or onto those knees. Exhale, coming all the way onto the mat. Inhale, just lift that chest. Exhaling down. Inhale, push back to down dog. Taking that breath here. Inhale, walk those feet up to those hands. Folding over those legs. And inhale all the way up. Exhaling the arms down. All right, we'll go into our first balance pose here. So we'll start with our right leg, or left leg, sorry, planted. So we can take the hands, placing them off to the side, wherever's gonna help with our balance here. Finding a spot on the floor that's directly in front of us and slightly down that's not moving, that we can focus on. We'll slowly start to lift the right toes up off of that mat. Letting those toes be the last thing that come up. Bringing the knees up and knee up into the chest. So we can stay right here, or we can start to rotate that leg out to the side, taking that foot, placing it either on that calf. You can take a hold of the foot if you have that flexibility, placing it on that inner thigh. Or you can take the foot, if the balance is not there, and kind of place it on the ankle with the toes, just tapping the floor. Wherever's comfortable, just trying to keep that foot off of that knee. Opening those hips nice and wide, so opening that knee up. And when we feel steady, we'll take the arms, start to bring them up. And then just kind of angle them out to the side. Taking those deep breaths here. Taking just a couple more breaths. And we'll slowly release the hands back down, release that leg. Go ahead and shake that left leg out. And we'll take our right leg, stepping it back long onto the mat. So that back foot is parallel with the mat. The front heel is about in line with the middle of that back foot. Making sure those hips are nice and even. And then we'll put a bend in that front knee. Bring those arms out like we're surfing. Gaze going up over that front middle finger. And taking breaths here. Trying to keep those arms nice and parallel, so if we feel them start to sink, just slowly lift them up. And relax the shoulders down the back, so we feel them start to shrug up, just slowly relax them down. Taking those deep breaths. Just a couple more. And we'll slowly start to cartwheel the arms forward. So we'll start to just kind of rotate ourselves over that front foot, rotating that back foot up on the toes so the hands come down onto the mat. And we'll step that front foot back and come into a down dog. If we need to shake that leg, feel free to shake that leg out. And taking a couple breaths here. on our next inhale, we're gonna walk the feet up to those hands. Folding over those legs. And inhale, coming all the way up. Bringing those arms. Exhaling down. And we'll take the hands, release them down by the sides, and we'll move our balance to our other side. So keeping that right foot planted this time. And again, those arms can kind of be wherever that's going to help us get that balance. Finding that spot on the floor that's not moving. And slowly starting to lift those left toes up. And those toes are the very last thing that comes up. Bringing that knee up into the chest. We can stay here or slowly rotate that leg out, placing it on the calf, bringing up to that thigh or onto that ankle with those toes tapping the ground. Again, trying to open those hips up nice and wide so that leg comes out. And then when we feel steady, we'll bring those arms up. And take those deep breaths. Taking just a couple more breaths here. And we'll slowly release the hands down. Release that foot. And then shake that leg out. And shake that other leg out. We'll come back to the front of our mat if we're not there. And step that, right leg back. Or left leg back nice and long. So that back foot is parallel with the mat. That front heel, again, is about in line with the middle of that back foot. Slowly putting that bend in that front knee. And bringing those arms out. Gaze over that front middle finger. Taking those deep inhales and exhales. Again, trying to keep those arms up, so if you start to feel them shift down, just slowly start to bring them back up and relax those shoulders down the back. Feeling nice and strong in this pose. Feeling all four corners of that front foot down on the mat and sealing down that back edge of our back foot. Taking a couple more breaths here. And we'll start to cartwheel those arms forward. So starting to kind of drop over that front knee, bringing that back arm up overhead, rotating those back toes up, and stepping that front leg long back to that nice down dog. Take those deep breaths. On that nice inhale, walk those feet up to those hands. Folding over those legs. And inhale all the way up. Exhaling the arms down. We can take the hands, place them on the hips. We'll take the left leg, stepping it back. Not too long of a stance. And our back toes are kind of going to be pointing off to an angle. So we're not parallel with the mat. If it's not comfortable on the knee, you can adjust that foot so it is parallel. That kind of helps a little bit with that knee. So we want our hips to be facing forward, nice and even with each other. So that's why we want to put the hands on the hips to make sure they're nice and even, straight in front of us. And then we'll slowly put a bend in that front knee. So again, you can adjust the stance once you kind of get the bend in. You might have to step back or forward a little bit. We're going to take the right hand and bring it straight up towards the sky. Take the left hand, sliding it kind of down that back thigh. So we're putting like an angle into our warrior one here. So that right hand's going straight up, left hand going back down that thigh, and the gaze can go up towards the sky. If this is uncomfortable on that lower back, you can just bring yourself straight up with that arm still straight and that left hand placed on that thigh back here. If we have that back bend, you want to engage that core. That helps take a little bit of the strain off that lower back. We'll take a few breaths here. On our next inhale, if we're in that back bend, bringing ourselves back straight up, we'll go ahead and bring that left arm back up, and bringing ourselves back forward. Straighten that front leg. And as we exhale, folding over that front leg. Taking the hands, either placing them on each side of the foot on the mat. If we have any blocks, we can take the blocks, placing them on both sides of the foot to kind of bring us up a little bit. Pillows or anything like that will also work. You can also take the hands, place them on that shin area, ankle, or have a bend in that front knee. Taking a few breaths here, allowing the back of that leg to release. The hamstrings, the back of the leg tend to get pretty tight. So we hold this pose for just a little bit longer to allow that leg to release. Sending that breath down the back of the leg. We'll hold it for a couple more breaths here. And slowly putting a bend in that front knee, rotating that back foot so we're up on those toes. Kind of walking that front foot just a little bit so you're more on those railroad tracks instead of the feet being right behind each other. Take those hands, place them on the thigh, bring ourselves up to that long lunge here. A little bit of a balance. And we'll take the hands, bring them up. If we want to add that back bend here, we can bring the gaze up towards the sky and slowly shift those shoulders and upper body back, engaging that core. Or we can just leave ourselves straight up and down, whatever's comfortable. Taking those breaths here. And if we're in that back bend, we'll slowly bring ourselves straight up and down. And then as we exhale, folding over that front leg, bringing the hands to the mat, stepping that front foot back into a down dog. And we'll shake that leg out. And shake that other leg out. Placing both feet back onto the mat. Taking those deep inhales and exhales. Maybe noticing there's a little bit of a difference between the legs. Move that right leg a little bit looser than when we first started. We'll take one more breath. On that next inhale, walk those feet up to the hands. Folding over those legs. And inhale all the way up. Exhale the arms down. All right, we'll take those hands, place them back onto those hips. This time we'll take that right leg, stepping it back. Oops. Again, our stance may be a little bit shorter here. Those back toes are facing off to that diagonal. Again, if it's not comfortable on the knee, you can adjust that foot so it's parallel with the mat. Once those hips feel like they're nice and even, placing that bend in that front knee, adjusting the stance if we need to. And when it feels steady, we'll take that left hand, bringing it up, sliding that right hand down that back thigh. Again, if this is too much on that lower back, we can just bring ourselves straight up with that left hand up, right hand still back down on that thigh. We are in the back bend, we're engaging that core, helping to take that strain off that lower back. And taking those deep inhales and exhales. Holding it for a few more breaths. And we'll slowly bring ourselves up if we're in that back bend. Bringing that right arm up. We'll straighten that front leg. And as we exhale, fold over that front leg. Placing both hands on opposite sides of the foot or up on those blocks or pillows, on that shin, ankle, or having a bend in that front knee. Again, we'll hold this pose for a few more breaths to allow the back of that thigh to loosen up. For those of us who sit a lot, or maybe if you're a runner or a power walker, this is a really good pose to do because the backs of the legs tend to get really tight when doing those activities. So this will help loosen that leg up. Taking a few more breaths here. And slowly putting a bend in that front knee, rotating those back toes so they're up on the mat. And slowly walking that front foot over to the side just a little bit so we're on those railroad tracks. Taking the hands, placing them on the thigh, bringing ourselves up into that nice long lunge. We'll inhale the arms up. Again, we can stay right here. Or if we want to add that back bend, we'll bring the gaze up towards the sky and slowly shift those shoulders back, engaging that core. Taking those deep breaths. And we'll slowly bring ourselves up. And as we exhale, fold over that front leg. Stepping that front leg back into a down dog. And then shaking that left leg out. Shaking that right leg out. Placing both feet back onto the mat. Taking those deep breaths. Maybe notice now how maybe each leg feels a little bit more loose than how it was when we first started the practice. On our next inhale, we're going to start to shift ourselves forward to a high plank. So from our down dog, as we inhale, we just start to shift that weight up onto those back toes, bringing it into those wrists. Again, if you need to drop onto those knees, you can drop onto the knees. We'll hold this for just a couple breaths here. And as we exhale, coming all the way onto the mat. Inhale, just lifting that chest. And exhale, coming straight down onto the mat, turning the face, so rest the cheek down onto the mat. We'll take the hands, just lay them down by our sides. Take a couple breaths here. Our next pose, we're gonna be a little dynamic here, so we're gonna move with our breath. So as we inhale, we're gonna start to lift the head and the chest up, turning the face so it comes forward. We'll bring the right arm out while lifting the back left leg up off the mat. And as we exhale, we start to bring the head to the opposite side, resting on that opposite cheek, placing the hand and foot back down. As we inhale, bringing that chest head up, bring right leg, left arm, and exhale, turning the face. Inhale, going that left leg, right arm, face forward. Exhaling down. Inhale, bringing that left arm, right leg up. And exhale down. We'll do one more on each side. Inhale, bring that right arm, left leg up. And exhale down. And last one, inhale, bring that left arm, right leg up. Exhaling down. We'll take a couple breaths here. On our next inhale, we'll add those arms and legs together. So as we inhale, we bring that chest up, face forward, and we bring both arms up, both the legs up. If it's too much with the arms forward, we can keep them back or off to the side, or we can keep the legs down, just lifting that chest up. Whatever's comfortable. Taking those deep breaths here. Holding it for one more breath. And exhale, coming down onto the mat. Taking a breath here. We'll take the hands, place them under those shoulders. Start to bring ourselves up onto those hands and knees. And slowly coming back, tucking those big toes. And coming into a child's pose. If the shoulders need a little break, we can take the hands and rest them down by the legs. Taking deep breaths here. On the next inhale, bring yourself back up onto our hands and our knees. And then slowly making our way, having a seat on our mat. We'll do one final strength pose here. So we'll take the feet, place them onto the mat. We can take the hands, placing them behind us, facing whatever way is comfortable. So if you face them around, towards the back, face them towards you or off to the side. We're gonna kind of sit or rock, so we're up on those sit bones. And we're gonna start to shift the upper body back. And while we're doing that, we're gonna try to get the feet up off the mat, keeping the back nice and long here. So we can keep these legs glued together. If it's too much to have the feet off, we can just kind of have those heels resting. And that still allows us to keep that upper body straight. So if we have the feet up off the mat, we can then take the hands and kind of place them right alongside the leg with the palms up. And take a few breaths here. You might shake a little bit, and that's okay. Taking one more breath. And exhale, slowly placing those feet back onto the mat and back up. We'll take the feet out nice and wide. Inhale the arms up. And as we exhale, folding either straight between those legs, or we can take the hands, placing them out on each foot. Trying to keep the length in the back here. So we don't want to round ourselves forward. Always you can have a bend in those knees. And take those deep inhales and exhales. We'll slowly take those hands, place them on the floor, and kind of walk them back towards the body, giving ourselves a little help up. We'll take the feet, bring them in together, placing them in front of the hips, as close as is comfortable, and then rocking back and forth so we're up on those sit bones. Taking those hands, we can inhale, bringing the arms up, and as we exhale, start to fold over those feet. And the hands can rest wherever is comfortable. Again, trying to keep the length in that back so we don't want to round forward. If we feel that, we just start to sit up just a little bit. Letting those knees just relax down at their own pace. Try not to force anything down to the ground. Taking deep inhales and exhales. And we'll take those hands, placing them on the floor, slowly giving ourselves a little help up. We'll take the hands, place them under the knees, giving those legs a little bit of a help up. And then taking the feet, placing them wide on the mat. Taking the hands, placing them behind us, kind of at a little bit of an angle here. And then dropping the legs from side to side. Going as slow or as fast as is comfortable. You need to hold one side down a little bit longer. Feel free. And the next time we get to the left side, we'll let the legs fall, sweeping the right arm around behind us, sweeping it back, almost like we're going to shake someone's hand behind us. So a little bit of a twist here. And on that next exhale, slowly sweep that arm back around, placing it on the mat behind us. And then again, dropping those legs from side to side. And then the next time we get to that right side, we'll let those legs fall all the way down, sweeping that left arm around, shaking that hand behind us. And as we exhale, slowly sweeping that left hand back forward and placing it back down. We'll go one more time each side, dropping those knees down. And then bringing those knees up, walking those feet back center, and slowly making our way all the way down onto our mat. We'll bring those knees into the chest and slowly rock side to side. And we'll release those legs, keeping them up, tucked into the chest, taking the hands. We can either place them down by the side or kind of out to the side, whatever's comfortable. And then just stretch those knees up, straightening those legs as much as we can. And then point those toes, flex those heels, just going back and forth. And then do some circles with the ankles. And switch the direction. And then we'll slowly bring the feet down onto the mat. Keeping those feet onto the mat, we'll take the hands, bringing them kind of up by the sides, and we'll just do some circles with those wrists. And then switch the direction. And then take the hands and kind of stretch out that left hand, holding those fingers, straightening that arm. And then slowly bending that elbow, switching to that other side, taking hold of those fingers, straightening out that right arm. And slowly bending that elbow, bringing the hands back in. Slowly placing one leg down onto the mat, followed by the other. And one final stretch, taking those arms up overhead, stretching those arms, stretching those legs, full body here, just like we're waking up in the morning. And then let those legs fall, let those arms fall. Let the legs rest wherever's comfortable. Take those arms, bring them down by the sides. Start to close the eyes. Start to refocus on the breath. Feeling the inhale fill all the spaces in the lungs and moving all throughout the body. And then feeling it leave the body with each exhale. Feeling ourselves sink deeper and deeper into our mats. Trying to take these next few minutes to just clear our minds. Trying to let any stress go from the day or any tension we might be holding in the body. Just watching it leave with each exhale. Having these next few minutes to not have to think about anything, not have to worry about anything. Maybe these might be the only few minutes that you have all day to be able to do this. So take advantage of that. If you feel the mind start to wander, just bring it back by focusing on the breath. And just taking these next few minutes to just be with yourself. Start to bring a little life back to your body by wiggling your fingers and toes, rolling your wrists and ankles, rocking your head side to side. Start to deepen the inhale, deepen the exhale. When you feel ready, slowly take one foot, place it on the mat, follow it by the other, and then slowly bring one knee into the chest, followed by the other. Take a hold of the legs, and slowly rock side to side. And when you feel ready, roll onto your right side. With your right side grounded by the earth, leaving your left side open to the sun, the moon, and the stars, and all the gifts the universe has to offer you today. When you feel ready, come up to a comfortable seated position. We'll take the hands, place them in front of the heart. Close the eyes one last time. Take a deep inhale. Exhale it all out. Thank you for sharing your practice with me this evening. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.